Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be with you. And unlike the other speakers, I need a little light up here to see my notes. And, you know, I was thinking I was a little nervous coming up. I mean, and the mayor is such an eloquent speaker, and so gift. Everybody who's come up is so gifted. And I have to tell you, then a calm came over me, because I'm talking about two people who have done just amazing work, who I look up to like no two other people. So a calm has come over me. I will look at my notes though. Let me read you some of the things and give you a little bit of background. I'll do it quickly, but do it justice. There's a number of things that came together in the late 1970s that raised awareness in Atlanta that there was a problem, not just with hunger and the need for soup kitchens, but with a growing number of people who had no place to call a home. One of the events that especially stirred people, citizens, us, occurred on the property of the state capitol. A homeless person died on those lawns. In order to help prevent this type of situation from occurring again, Central Presbyterian Church, located across the street from the state capitol, opened its doors to the homeless in Atlanta during the winter of 1980. Now together, as you heard from earlier speakers, with the Catholic Shrine of the Immaculate Conception, 100 homeless people are provided shelter each night. Central Night Shelter, just in case you're not familiar with it, let me tell you this, is a ministry of hospitality and compassion, offering to the homeless guests a hot meal, a warm place to spend the night, medical and foot care, and the fellowship of caring volunteers. And as you can imagine, many of these people who live at the shelter are the same folks that Georgia Justice Project works with. And as you heard also, the founder of Georgia Justice Project was a volunteer at Central Night Shelter. So there's so many connections. Now let me talk about these two people. And I truly wish I was a poet. I wish I had the words of the mayor right now to explain the work these folks have done. I hope I do it justice. Mark and Katie Bashor have been deeply involved in Central Night Shelter for the past 28 years. Mark began working at Central Night Shelter during the winter of 1981. There's some people here who weren't born then. I've seen you. A short time later, Mark met Katie, and together they have been involved ever since. Mark served as the director, which, as you know, a director of any kind of organization, especially a volunteer organization, is so hard. He was a director for 14 years, and then he was succeeded by his wife, Katie, who's been the director for 9 years now. And it's such a beautiful thing to know is that they exposed their two children, Ryan and Jesse, to the shelter. And I remember them as just little toddlers. They brought them in as youngsters since they were born to expose them to this great need that our citizens, the homeless, have. To me, it's difficult to imagine 28 years, to imagine the tireless work that Mark and Katie have done. I imagine them remembering 28 years of phone calls in the middle of the night when the heat in the shelter's not working. I personally have called them 100 times. 28 years of near panic when a meal doesn't arrive and there's no food for 100 hungry men. It's not a pretty sight. 28 years of there's just not quite enough volunteers. So can you imagine who did the volunteering? They did. 28 years of explaining why on a cold winter night we just can't let another person into the shelter because it's full. It's so heart-wrenching. 28 years of asking people to leave the shelter for breaking a rule and wondering if the person without a home would survive the night. Those are the things I can imagine they remember. Let me tell you what I hope you two remember. 28 years of giving hope to those who are the least among us. Hope 28 years of providing purpose to the lives of volunteers like me. And I will tell you, I am drawn to the shelter because of them and the work we do because of their character. They draw the volunteers. 28 years of demonstrating a model of volunteerism in our community. 28 years of endless sacrifice. So perhaps I've gone a little long, but I would like to end with one short reading. I sent a note to one of our homeless friends who has since left the shelter and asked him if he could come. And he said to me, he said, "Tell Mark and Katie I can't come. I'm so sorry," because he's working tonight. And he has responsibilities and bills to pay. And he just couldn't make the decision to come. But he said on his refrigerator is this poem that he wanted me to read, and it has Mark and Katie's name on it. And it's the poem we all know, and it says the word that's been mentioned here a few times earlier. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed. And then he just had one more verse. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace that brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. Katie and Mark, for your 28 years of giving hope, providing purpose, being a model of volunteerism, for your sacrifice, and most importantly, for demonstrating amazing grace all these years, we are proud to recognize you tonight.
Ed's just sucking up because he breaks all the rules of the shelter. Let me tell you something. The shelter is never full when Ed works. Mark and I are so grateful to the Georgia Justice Project for this great honor. When Ed met with us to tell us, I was really hoping he was going to give us some money, but he was there to tell us about this honor. And when we heard that it was Justice Sears and Horace Sibley that we were being honored with, we were just absolutely blown away. And we were like, "You sure you want us?" We are so grateful to the Georgia Justice Project. We want to thank Doug Amar and all of the staff who have done so much to bring about this wonderful event. I said to Doug earlier tonight, you know, we travel the same road, and I just want Doug and GJP to know that we are inspired and comforted by being on that road with them. We would also like to take this opportunity to thank the two host churches of Central Night Shelter, Central Presbyterian Church and the Catholic Shrine of the Immaculate Conception, in opening the doors of their churches to the homeless of Atlanta. They have given a great gift to the city of Atlanta. Central Night Shelter is a unique endeavor because of its all-volunteer status. It is truly a collaborative effort done by a group of the most committed people I have ever met. Mark and I feel privileged to be a part of them. And so our thanks go to the organizing committee who put in countless hours each winter at the shelter and at home to make this a reality. You teach us the meaning of dedication and selflessness and leadership. Our thanks go also to the volunteers who come each and every night during the winter to feed and spend the night at the shelter. You teach us the meaning of commitment and compassion and hospitality. Our thanks go to the guests of Central Night Shelter who come each night and share their stories and their lives with us. You teach us the meaning of dignity and perseverance and courage. This award is in recognition of all of you, for you serve as an example of what can be accomplished when ordinary people come together to say, it is wrong for people to starve in America. It is wrong for the most vulnerable among us to be forced to sleep in the streets of America. It is wrong for the mentally ill to wander untreated the streets of America. When ordinary people unite, extraordinary things can be accomplished.
Amen.